This will be 3 easy steps to finding, creating, and sending an alert. Go to capwizbillAlertMailA/bigcatrescue/admin. Log in with the username and password. If it is an existing bill, the first step will be to locate that bill through CapWiz. Go to Votes and Bills, then select Bills and choose whether it is a federal or a state bill, and select Go. If you know whether or not it's a House or a Senate bill or the bill number, you can put it up here in the box on the top right. If not, you can use a keyword. These are all of the bills that are currently out there that have the word "fur" in them. Click the radio button of the one that you want and choose Next Step. The second step will be to edit the bill language so that it actually makes sense. Be sure that you understood the bill language so that we're properly supporting things that we mean to be supporting, and then write it in such a way that our supporters understand what the nature of the bill is and what we're asking them to do. You can select when the start date for this bill will be in case it's something out into the future. It won't show up until the start date that you select. And then in the box here, you can edit the text to make it more user-friendly. When you're happy with your text, choose the Options tab, and then select all of the options that make sense for this bill. When you've selected all of the options that pertain to this particular bill, click Next Step. On this screen, you can review what you have written and then hit Save and Finish. This program is a little bit glitchy in that you can't go back and change something. If you want to make an edit, you have to go through the entire process, hit Save and Finish, and then click on it to edit it again. That's why I really like to use something like Notepad for writing my headline, my subheadline, my text, all of the fields that I'm going to be filling in, and that way I can get really comfortable with the language that I'm going to use and then just copy and paste it in as I go. Then go to Alerts and Messages, Create Alert, and the one that you'll use the most is called Basic Alert and Message. Here is where you will select who the target will be. If it's a federal bill, you would select the congressman. If it were a letter to the governor or an agency, or down here in this long list, you can see all of the individuals that we have, like the FWC, or you can add somebody to that group if it's a fair that we've never dealt with before. Here is where you can copy and paste in your headline, the body of your text. You'll select your start date and your end date if there is an end date for this particular action. You'll want to go and get a photograph. You can pick one from our bigcatrescue.org site, and you'll need the URL to paste in here, the entire URL of the image. Select your alert options, and your layout can be a 1-step or a 2-step. I really like the 1-step. Choose whether or not you want it to go out on the CapWiz site. In most cases you will. Select all of these sites that seem like they would make sense for the type of alert. Be sure and send the alert blaster, and you can only select 5. So I usually choose things like animal welfare and 4 other ones based upon whatever type of alert it is that I'm sending out and who I think our target audience most likely would be. Then choose Next Step, which will be what the user will be sending. And there's a lot of different options for whether or not you can have a carousel of different headlines so that it looks different coming to the target. You choose the category that makes the most sense. To keep our opponents from hijacking our system, I always keep a required beginning and a required end that specifically ask for whatever the action is that we support. The message body can be something that's more editable for our users, but by having a required beginning and a required end, that will be on every single letter that goes out through our system. on that particular alert. Naturally, it's much more powerful for our users to put their own text here in the middle, but there is a very, very small percentage of people who will do that. Even when we give them bullet points, I found that they will select every single bullet point in the list as opposed to reading any of them. So if you're doing something by gradation where it's I love this, I hate this, I don't care about this, they will put all 3 bullet points in there and send the message, which makes no sense whatsoever. So be sure that whatever you give them as text to use is what you would be fine with somebody actually receiving from one of our constituents. Be sure and click on each of these gray tabs above here. The thank you will be a thank you email that goes to our user after they send the message. The instructions will be on the page that they come to that tells them how to fill out the form. If it's something where you want to tell them, be sure and select the bullet points, or be sure and make your own edits, you would put it there. The confirmation is what they get immediately after they hit submit. So something simple like, thank you, your message is on its way is usually sufficient there. On the thank you email, I really like to send out a regular letter to them that says, thank you for doing this, and this is how you've helped, and here's a free screensaver with a link to a screensaver, something like that to engage them a little bit further, give it more personal touch. You'll find that when you do several of these, you'll want to keep a little database of all of these kinds of pieces of text so that you don't have to rewrite them each time. And then you can just copy and paste them into each one of the appropriate slots for your future alerts. Down here you can put either my signature line, or if you'd like to put your own signature line, that's fine. I'd much rather they contact you than me. You'll get a lot of really nice responses from people who will tell you that they sent the letter and they want you to know that they really care. For the delivery options, we only choose by email or for them to print and mail it. We do not enable them to fax it or to send it by special delivery, as we would be charged on each of those for long distance and such. Here is where you can review your alert, the image that you're using, and if you like it all, hit Save and Finish. Now if you go back to Alerts and Messages and find the alert that you just wrote, click View Alert and take a look at what you just did. This will create a pop-up box that shows you what the alert looks like. And as you can see, the image here is rather large, and because it only has a headline and no subheadline, the text is further down the page and people may not scroll down to see it. So what you might want to do is find a smaller picture and add a headline or a subheadline that fills in more of that space and brings them down into this area. And this is the action area underneath your text where they would fill it out. Under Alerts and Messages, you would then select Edit and make whatever edits that you would like to the alert. These are being made in real time. If you've published it already, people will be seeing these changes as they're made. To edit the message, you would click Edit on the message underneath your alert, and this is where you would change what the user would be able to fill in. This makes it possible to continue to use the same alert as things change. So if a bill is being used as an alert for a particular hearing that's coming up, and later after that hearing there's another step that you want the user to take, then you can keep changing what is being said here in the message area so that it is appropriate to the status of the bill. Another really cool thing about CapWiz on the user side is that you can always check and see what the most up-to-date status on that bill is at the bottom of each one of those bills. Just please remember that as you make edits, you have to step forward through the process. You cannot go backwards, and you have to go through each one of the steps until you get to Save and Finish. And then if there's still another edit that you need to make, just click Edit again and start the process.